Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats, all things photography. So today I'm going to talk about a local yard sale was selling a camera, and I can't help but buy it. It was a little Leica IIIf with a 50 millimeter collapsible Summicron, which I've never had a Summicron for a Leica 3 Barnack camera. I've only had the 3.5, or I've had other f2 lenses, but not a Summicron. And so I spent some money on it, but it's like, well, it seems like, to me, the ultimate in a small folding camera that hopefully is still pocketable. It's a little thicker than the 3.5 that I like to put in my front jeans pocket, but if not, it's going to go over my shoulder, and I'll use this one a lot because it's got that amazing 1950s Summicron. Then I looked at the lens, and it's got a little bit of a yellowing to it. You might be able to see it. And I thought, huh. And I looked up, and sure enough, the lens is worth a lot more than I paid for it. Not that I'm selling it, but it's radioactive. There was a period of time in the early 50s when Leica was using, I think it's like a thorium is the name of the radioactive material, and they would put it between lens layers to help with diffraction and making it so that the photos would be sharper. And that might not be the right word, but it's something radioactive. And I know there are Pentax lenses for 6x7 that have radioactive elements, and I have one of those, and it is yellow. And supposedly you can put it out in under UV light. You can put it in a space where UV light is, and it'll take away the yellow. But a lot of people say they like the yellow because it makes things a little bit more contrasty, like having a small amount of a yellow filter on the lens while you're shooting. And I'm like, huh. I bought it because the camera was in such great condition and because it had a little Summicron on it. But it's fascinating. Sometimes the things you're buying are worth more than you think. I have years ago talked about a little viewfinder for 35 millimeter that I bought at a local antique sale that was in our local fairgrounds, and it had a Leica 2 with a little viewfinder. It's an accessory viewfinder. And it's a real little one, but it showed the view of a 35 millimeter frame on these cameras which only have a 50 millimeter viewfinder. And I didn't realize that that little viewfinder, which is what drew me to buying that Leica 2, is worth way more than the Leica 2 because they're not very common. And again, I'm not selling it. It's what I'm going to use. And someday when I'm older, it'll be my retirement probably. That's the fascination with some of the gear we buy. We don't always know what their worth is. And I didn't know I was buying a radioactive lens. In fact, I'm a little bit afraid of it. I'm like, well, can I use it constantly? Should I not be too close to it? I put a filter on it, and hopefully that'll help create a little bit more barrier between the rays that are emitting from it. But I keep the cap on all the time because I don't want it to shoot radioactivity at me. Do you know anything about this? Give me any insight you have. Do you know if something is radioactive? What's the risk? How much do I need to be careful, and does it not even matter? I've read a lot of conflicting views, and most of them seem to say it's harmless unless you're holding it up to your eye for hours at a time. But does even a little bit matter? Anyway, I bought it for photography. I bought it to make photographs and to have a way to shoot a small little Summicron in a small little package. And that is a beautiful little package. And I showed it to a friend. She's like, even the leather strap is cute. It is. That's my latest spend. A Leica IIIf. The viewfinder is so clear, and the condition of it is so good. It's a little bit of an honor to, it's a neighbor of mine who's having the yard sale. So I'm going to share some of the photos it makes, so that I think it came from his grandfather. He doesn't really have any ability or interest in photography, and so it'll be fun for me to show him some of the photographs I make with it, since he's right up the street. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I'll be back next time. We'll be talking more photography. As always, here's the good light.